Good morning. I'm going to Holland today. I need to leave home in just over an hour. I woke up earlier. I woke up like 20 minutes, 25 minutes before my alarm, which was good. But to be honest, I've had a bit of I don't want to say a rough night, but I definitely slept very light. And I kept waking up and thinking I missed my alarm, which just happens when you've got something that you can't be late for. But it feels so stupid because I had like such a nice time for this flight that I shouldn't have been stressing overnight. And also like I'm going to Holland, it's gonna be fun. And I'm only going for a couple of days. There's no pressure. And yet it did affect my sleep, which is so annoying. And I had some like very strange and intense dreams. Anyway, I feel like I'm still feeling it a little bit, but I'm glad I've woken up, and I'm glad I woke up when I did, because it just means that I'd allowed myself, I think, like 50 something minutes, so that would have been enough time, but just having a little bit more freedom, it meant I could be a little bit slower getting out of bed, and I can just like make sure everything is ready and in its right place and charging a little bit before I go, so that is good. Apart from like, getting to the airport on time and getting to the plane on time and, getting to Holland, whatever, my biggest goal for today is to finish the book I'm currently reading and to make a good headway into the next book. Because one of my goals this year, I don't know if I've mentioned this already, I think I probably have, is to really try and work through my to-read list. And I've got 2 different library apps, and I went through and added any books that were on my to-read list in Storygraph to my to-read list in both of those apps. But quite a lot of them were audiobooks, and they had like long wait times. They had like a month or 6 weeks. So I just added them as holds so that when they became available, I could read them, because what it looked like was that they were all quite spread out. However, 3 have now become available on top of the one I'm already reading. And like the first one, the first one that became available only has 10 days left on it now. Another reason why I did this was because of running. I think I've mentioned that a little bit on here. But yeah, I just want to try and like make a little bit of progress into that so that I can at least clear some of it and not lose out on the reservations that I placed and then have to wait another 6 weeks before I can access the books again. And with traveling and sitting at airports and on planes and whatever, I really think I should have enough time. The book I'm currently reading is really good, but quite long. I think it was like 25 hours in total. And I'm currently 20 hours in, so I've got 5 left, but I've realised I can actually listen to it on more than double speed, almost 2.5 times speed, I think. So I think it should only take me 2 hours to finish, which is basically from now until I get to the airport. Actually, that journey is longer, so before I get to the airport, hopefully I should have that book finished. And then I think the first available book is only like 8 hours or something, so that should also be a breeze. I am a little bit nervous. I don't know why. I think it's just left over from my dream and from like not wanting to miss my flight. But yeah, not from like actually going, obviously. I'm very excited. But I'm gonna have some breakfast and then I'm gonna like pack my last minute things. Last night it didn't take anywhere near as long as I was worried it would. And it currently all fits very nicely in my bag. Although I know that once I add in chargers and devices, that's always what takes up the most space. So we'll see. But I'm gonna leave it here for now. I probably won't talk to you very much because I'm gonna try and charge my camera. But I will probably see you at the airport or something. Hello. I am about to leave. I feel pretty good. The house is in a pretty good state. It's not in the best state, but that is because Wayne is still here. Not right now, but like he's staying and there's a lot of his stuff that I'm not gonna move because obviously, he's coming home to it. But I feel like my areas, the areas I'm responsible for, the areas that have my stuff, is all very clean and neat and everything. And I'm excited. Now I just want to get there. And it's so silly because the flight to Holland is so quick, and usually from the moment we like start moving at the airport on this end to the moments of arriving in Holland and like getting out of the airport, it's all very quick usually. But it's all the waiting around beforehand that's usually like the longest bit. Like I'm probably not gonna see my grandparents until I think about 6 hours from now. Like that's ridiculous. The flight is 40 minutes. But anyway, it's fine. I'm going and I'm excited. I'm very excited. I just want to show you the tulips before I leave because I don't think they'll be alive by the time I get back. I did already have to throw away a couple, which was quite sad because these are the flowers I've taken the best care of ever. But the whole bulb, not even like individual petals, but the whole bulb just came off for a couple of the flowers. And I don't know if that's something I did wrong or if it's just the flowers. But I do still think they're so pretty. They're so pretty. All right, it's officially time to go. I'll probably see you at the airport. Eee!
Ja, oh, dat komt heel goed uit op camera. Oh, wat leuk. Oh, wauw. Oh, dat is echt... En dan wordt het nog zilver, volgens mij. Dat is even langs, 2 seconden. Oh, dat is echt leuk.
Hi, I'm so warm. I'm very happy to be home. Well, that's not actually true. I have some thoughts. I don't have my tripod out. I want to put my stuff down, but there's clothes on the chair. My own clothes. Wayne folded them. I just need to put them away. So I'm going to dump some stuff on the bed, try and get myself a little bit organised, and then I'll chat to you. Hey. I haven't done very much. I haven't got fully changed even, but I have just put on a pyjama top and put my bags down, which I needed to do. I'm gonna unpack and everything properly. I've got a number of things I need to do tonight. It is wonderfully early though, I must say. I got into King's Cross at a nice time. Actually, not really. I thought it was going to be rush hour, but I did thankfully get a seat on the tube and I had a very good journey home from King's Cross. So very, very thankful for that. I want to talk to you and then I'm going to do the things I need to do this evening. I don't know if I'll see you again after that. But first I want to show you my bag situation. This is the main bag I travelled with and it's got my clothes. It's quite full. I don't know why it's, oh, because of the laundry. I didn't like properly fold the laundry. But yes, this is what I travelled there with and this is very comfortable, not very heavy on my back. However, I brought an extra bag because I was prepared. Also for clarity, I flew there so I could only take one bag and I came back with the train so I could take a lot more back, which I knew. And this, I don't know if you can see, is the second bag. And this has a bag in it. This is the bag that was in the bag and I don't know if you can see, this is like that is most of what was in that bag and it is all food. And that is heavy, that is surprisingly heavy. I would say about 50% of what I bought is for me and 50% is for other people. I bought some flokke for my cousin. I bought some hagelslag for my grandma. I bought some drop for some like aunts and uncles. And I bought some fish for my grandma, which I really, really didn't want to buy and I really, really didn't want to bring. But I have wrapped it as well as I can and I will give it to her on Friday and ugh. The things we do, hey? And then the rest of what was in that bag was primarily just things I wanted to use on the train. So my notebook, my pencil case, some food, like snacks. And then I had my scarf and hat. And I think that was it. But right, quick breakdown on where I'm at and what's going on. This weekend, I don't know if I gave any like explanation of why I was going, partly because my father was going to be there, but also partly because one of my grandparents had quite a big medical procedure about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and so I wanted to see them and be there to support them. Well, that grandparent was so much better than I was expecting, which is amazing. And it meant that we could actually do day trips and things that I really wasn't expecting. Or, you know, if we were going to do it, it was just going to be me and my father. So that was a really lovely treat and just spending the time with them and just seeing them be well, you know, that's such a gift. So yeah, I had a great time. I had a much better time than I mean, I always love going to Holland, but it was an even better time than I was expecting. But my initial thoughts upon coming home, I always find leaving hard. Pretty much leaving anywhere and leaving people, family members, I find hard. I am seeing my father again in about 3 weeks and my grandparents, maximum I think 6 months, but potentially before then. But it's still hard and I do still find leaving Holland hard, even to this day. But I was fairly okay today, I think in part because I know that I'm going to Australia in 2 weeks, which is crazy, and we're going to talk about that in a second as well. And that definitely made it easier, and I got on the train and I wasn't too upset and I was just comfortable, happy on the train. And then we pulled into, I think it was King's Cross. Actually, no, that's not even true. It was on the tube. It was like as I was getting closer to my stop. And I love where I live, but it was when I was on the tube, I just started to feel really, really sad. And in the past, when I've come back to London, I've not felt sad, I think. Like usually the hard bit is the goodbye, but then once I'm like on my way to wherever I'm going, which is usually London, I'm fine. And I don't know why. And I know that I'm happy here. And obviously I'm very excited to see Wayne this evening as well. I think it might have been better if he'd been home already by the time I got home, but I will see him tonight. But like I'm feeling, I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, I'm feeling emotional and not in a good way. I think it's probably just the fact that I am so ready to see my parents and I have been for so long. And obviously I've now had these wonderful 4 days with my father and my grandparents. But now I have to wait again until I get to see them, which again, it's not very long. It's only 2 weeks until I leave. But I still find it hard. And then also knowing that like, I'm gonna see them for a month and I'm gonna be with them for a month and that's incredible, that's amazing, I cannot wait. But then I'm gonna have to leave them again. And I think I'm just so sick of not being with my family. And I hate it. This is probably gonna have to be a separate video like in and of itself, but I hate it because my heart feels so torn. And it always has. Since we moved to Australia, it has. And then for so long on this side of the world, I have been so happy. And I know that living in Australia is not the solution. The solution is my parents living in Europe, but they're not going to do that. And that's just really hard. And I especially, I think, feel a divide between where my heart lies is with my parents in Australia, and then obviously here and with Wayne, but then also Holland. I can't even say that. I just do really love Holland. And I think maybe that's the other thing. As much as I do love going to Holland, and I really do, and I do not want to stop going, I think there is something about every time being back there, bringing back those memories of my childhood and of, what my life was like there and how happy I was there, even though I probably wasn't super happy and I probably wouldn't have been a super happy teenager there or like a young adult or whatever. But it's again just that wanting to tap into that younger me. And I get so close when I'm there, but I can't. And I don't like that. I don't know, I think I'm probably just being emotional now. Probably also because I've been having a very long day and carrying heavy bags all day, and I'm probably just very tired. But I think I'm just really, really ready to spend a month with my family in Australia. But then I know in that month, Wayne's not coming with, I'm gonna miss him so much. And it's really hard. And then I look at other family members who, have all their generations more or less, and all their cousins and aunts and uncles, not all, but a lot, in the same country, a lot of them in the same city, a lot of them in the same suburb, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I had that. I'm one of those people who, if I had a choice, I would have my parents living 2 doors down from me. I would have them living in the same house as me. But I'm from a family that doesn't like to sit still, or we all like to travel. And there's so many amazing things about that, but it can just get really hard at times. Anyway, I'm gonna have a little cry a bit later on, and that's fine, and then I'm gonna be okay, and then in 2 weeks I'm going to see everyone, which is amazing. But on that note, I don't think I realised it was exactly 2 weeks tomorrow that I leave, which, even saying it out loud doesn't feel real. But I did notice, while I was in Holland trying to plan things, I have no time, essentially, until I go. I'm working fairly long days this week. Tomorrow I'm working till 5:30 and then going on to a second job, which will probably finish around 6 or something. It's just a meeting. And then also potentially doing something with a cousin after that. So that's full. Thursday, I'm almost certainly working until 6, potentially until 7:30. I haven't been asked yet, but I think I will be, and I'll probably say yes. Friday, I'm working a longer day than usual, and then obviously it's Shabbat. Saturday, I've got free, which is gonna be needed, and nice. Sunday, I'm pretty sure I'm working the morning, and then I have the afternoon off, and I'm really hoping that I'll be able to go for a run in the afternoon, because I've not gone for a run in too long, or even done a dance class or anything. Then next Monday, I'm working during the day, but then Monday night is a Jewish holiday, and that bleeds into Tuesday. And it's one of the few Jewish holidays where you can work and travel, so I will be going to work on Tuesday, but then hopefully finishing early and having a family thing in the evening, as well as having something on Monday evening. And then next Wednesday, I'm working, I think, a half shift, but then I'm going to a show with Wayne in the evening, which I am looking forward to. Obviously, that's a fun thing to do. Then next Thursday, I'm definitely again working from 8 till 5, and I think again I'm going to be asked to stay until 7:15ish. Then next Friday, I think I'm going to be asked to work a full day instead of a half day. Again, I haven't been asked yet, but that's what I'm expecting. And then Friday night is Shabbat again, and then Saturday is Shabbat, which is again my one day off in the week. And then Sunday I'm going to be working again, and then I'll have the evening free again. And again, I'm hoping to go for a run then. The weekend is similar, but that's it. Then the Monday and Tuesday after that, I currently don't have any plans aside from work, but it's my friend's and my cousin's birthday in those days, so I'm hoping that I'll get to see them before I go to Australia. And then Wednesday, I work until 5, and then my flight is at 10 or 11 o'clock, I think, at night. So I'm gonna have very little time when I'm home to get my suitcase and go and change. And then I'm gone for a month. It's crazy. It is so packed. It's gonna fly. It's already flying. So that's my next 2 weeks. And there are other things I'm trying to fit in those times as well, and I just don't know if it's gonna happen. And the biggest thing that I really want to get done desperately before I go, and ideally as soon as possible, is to switch over from my winter to my summer clothes. If you've been following me for a while, every 6 months-ish, I change over my wardrobe because we have very, very limited cupboard space. In fact, it is already a bit overfull, which is also why I'm trying to declutter and selling some items on Vinted, so that'll be linked below if you're interested in purchasing anything. But I need to try and get that done before I pack so that everything is put away for the winter. And also I'll probably more likely need my summer clothes for Australia. But there's the caveat that I need to then make sure that I'm not wearing any winter gear between now and when I go, or, you know, when I want to do the changeover. So I think that's going to be my biggest challenge, just like the planning of it. And I really want to make sure that there's no winter clothes in the wash when I'm doing my changeover, or that like need to be washed, because then I don't want them to go in the wash after I've already done the switch. You probably can't follow this, but in my head it makes sense, and I'll sort it and I'm sure I'll document it. But that's like the biggest thing I want to do. I would also like to film 1 or 2 videos. I would also like to film a new short reel, or at least 1 or 2 songs. I would also like to edit. Although again, we've got some time on the editing, but I know I filmed a lot this week and I want to edit that. I also, this is like so unimportant, but I would like to catch up on some YouTube, because I haven't watched YouTube for 2 weeks because of the Olympics. I'm also desperately trying to read. I think I mentioned this before I left. I did finish a book literally like 2 hours ago, which I didn't love, but I think a big part of that is the Australian accents, my bad. But I've got another book that's 10 hours long that I want to try and read before the end of February. So I've got like 4 days, which is not very long, but it is only short. Then I also need to distribute all the food that I have for people. And I'm sure there's some other tasks as well that I can't think of right now off the top of my head, but I'm sure they're there. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave this here. If I have anything else to say tonight, I'll pop in and say it, but otherwise I presume this is going to be the end of the vlog. And yeah, sorry, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but there's lots happening, as I just said, in the next 2 weeks, so stay tuned, subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Or in the next clip very soon. I don't know, either way, I'll see you soon. Bye!